Hey everybody, it's Stacy Paulson. I just want to do a quick sound check. And so if you guys who are on right now, if you can just put in the chat box that you can hear me, then I'll go ahead and start. You always have that concern that you're talking to no one can hear you. So as soon as I get a response, we'll go ahead and start with this business training. All right. Perfect. So the training today is on the GoPro skill number 7. If you don't have the book GoPro by Eric Worre, I would highly recommend that you get a copy of that. You can listen to it free. If you just Google it, you'll find a YouTube video where you can listen to the actual book. So that is what we're going to be talking about. There's just basically 7 skills in creating a doTERRA business. Their general network marketing skills, and then in these trainings we like to help you to understand how they apply specifically to doTERRA. So promoting events is what we'll be talking about now. I'm Stacy Paulson, a Blue Diamond Wellness Advocate. I've been with doTERRA for about 5 years now, just over 5 years, and I've been building a business for about 4 years. And it's been fabulous for our family. I started when I had 4 children, and we've had 2 while we've been building. And my husband has a full-time job. He loves what he does. He could quit, but he wants to continue doing what he's doing for now. And so we work together in different ways. One thing that I want to recommend for these webinars, not just this one, but any webinar, is that if you will take notes, that you will recall so much more, and it will be so much more beneficial to you. And then another thing that I would recommend is that you quickly teach this to someone else, because when you take notes and then you teach it to someone else, or if you're taking notes with the intention of teaching someone else, you take notes and you listen differently, because you know you're going to have to share it with someone. And so you're a lot more careful in your listening and the things that you pay attention to, and you start thinking of how you would say this to someone else, and that cements it for you. And that's really one of the key things for me in growing my business, is that as soon as I heard something from someone that was just, I thought was amazing, is I would go and take and share it with someone else. I would teach someone else, I would share it with people, and that has made all the difference for me. So that's a couple of things that I hope that you will do while you're listening to this, because all of you are leaders, and that's what a leader does, is they learn things and then they pass that on, and they try to pass the baton to other people. If you're not doing that, then you really are hauling buckets, because you're never passing that information and that training onto someone else so that they can go and do that same thing. So those are just my 2 bits there. Let's go ahead and get started with this. And at any time, you're welcome to go ahead and post in the chat, and I will answer those along the way, or if I'm going to get to that point, we'll save it to that point in the presentation. Will probably be about 20 minutes. And then if there's any other questions, it might go 30 minutes. So the highest paid skill is being able to promote events. Why would you think that this is the highest paid skill? And maybe that's something new, something you haven't heard before. But really why it is because if you are able to get people to events, then it really helps them to think bigger. It helps to inspire them, and it speeds things up. There's like a sense of urgency when you come into an event and you're inspired by something. So my first event that I can recall in doTERRA that was really inspiring, that was life-changing for me, was just a simple webinar that I had attended. It wasn't live, it was recorded. It was presented by Seth Resume. A lot of you know him. And he had done this webinar about the compensation plan. And I don't even know where it came from. I don't know why I had Googled that. I just can't recall. But I remember sitting down and watching this presentation. And it was kind of long. But I watched it. And the things that I learned from the presentation, they were like light bulbs in my head about how this could create financial freedom for people. I remember after I watched it, going to the gym and having this almost like an epiphany of, this is incredible. Where has this been? Just like my same experience with oils, when I had used those for allergies, somebody shared them with me, and it was like an epiphany, like, oh my gosh, where have they been? Why has somebody not told me about essential oils and how they work? Because this is just amazing. It was the same thing with network marketing. When I watched that, I thought, oh my word. Here I've been hauling buckets. Here I've been doing all these things, and this has been around staring me in the face, and I was anti-network marketing. And when he presented it, it was in such a way that the light bulb went on. And for me, that was a life-changing experience, because from that point on, I knew that this was something that I needed to do. This was something that even God wanted me to do. And so I just continued to show up and show up and show up. And so that's what events can do for people, whether that's a live event, a webinar. We'll talk about some different events, but that's really what it can do, is it can inspire people. It also gives social proof. So when you're around other people who are engaging in this as a business or with using oils, those events give you social proof, because you're seeing other people who are trying to do the same thing you are doing, or that they're sharing their experiences or their challenges and how they've overcome them. And that's changing you. And so when we promote these events, that's not only happening for us, but it's happening for those people who we bring and invite to these events. It changes lives. And the stories that are shared, you never know. You might be telling one of your leaders something, and somebody else says it in a different way, or just coming out of somebody else's mouth, and that light bulb goes on for them. So that's another reason why we want people to come to events. It also helps to eliminate the excuses that people have for not being successful, for not doing just the daily habits, for not doing the things that will create that freedom in their life, that will help them to get to the goals, whatever they're doing, whatever they're doing doTERRA, that it eliminates the excuses. When you hear somebody else who has very similar circumstances as you, who's been able to overcome them, and you are a completely capable person, when you hear that, there's no excuse other than deciding that you're going to do it. And so when you hear it, it strengthens you and your resolve. And honestly, events make money. And some people might take that as, well, that's bad. But for me, the more money that goes into good people's hands, the more good that's going to be done in this world. So I want all of you to be able to make more money, because I know that if it's in your hands, you're going to be doing good things with it and helping other people to create that as well. So that's why it's the highest paid skill, because it changes lives. When you are able to promote events so people show up and they're excited about attending, that changes lives. And changing lives is what we do in doTERRA, and that's what we get paid for. So what type of events are there? There is a whole slew of different events. We have one-on-ones, we have two-on-ones, we have classes, where they're in-home classes or at a business. We have local events such as a monthly product training or a business training. It might be a business overview. That would be an event. Getting started training or a membership overview. Those are events. We have regional events like Elite Retreats, Silver Summits. doTERRA has their corporate events that you can go on their event page and look at. We have different training events by different leaders, whether they're live, they're online. We also have conference calls. So we have the mentor calls. We have the essential oils calls where it trains you, and it's just a text that comes to your phone and you're able to listen to those. Those can be considered an event. Also webinars, anything online, the Facebook classes that we have. These are all considered events to me. And then another big one is the destination event. And that is where doTERRA has 3 of them, maybe a few more as you get up in ranks. But convention is the #1 event. So yearly we have a convention, and that's a destination event. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the power of destination events. We also have the incentive trip, where you can earn a trip to Jamaica this year. Or, I'm wrong. Dominican Republic this year. And then leadership retreat that comes in the spring, if you're silver or above. That would be a destination event. But there's also destination events within our industry. So GoPro, Eric Worre, he does several different events that you can go, and they're great training and being around other people who are doing network marketing and learning from those people. There's Mastermind event, and there's just so many different events in that capacity, in that sense, that knowing this is what we're promoting. That's the highest paid skill, is promoting these events. So let's talk about the power of the destination event. So that's where somebody actually has to travel outside of their area and stay overnight. The power of this, number one, is that you're able to get away from the day-to-day things that you're doing and be immersed in this situation, this culture, where you're able to focus and be total immersion, focusing on your goals and your dreams. And it's a really powerful time to be able to refocus and to recommit and to gain strength, because often we gain strength in numbers. When I remember being in California and there was nobody else that I knew of doing doTERRA in my area, and you kind of feel alone. And you may have other people around you doing doTERRA, and you still may feel alone, but when you're able to come together with others, especially when you're able to gather as a team, that's really powerful, and getting that support, not feeling alone. Sometimes some of you are doing this and your spouse or family, they're not supportive. And so being able to come together with people who are supportive, who have similar goals, that's very powerful. It also gives validation to what you're doing, and social proof, as you're hearing other people and their successes and the things that are going on in the lives that are being changed. That validates what you're doing. It also has a little bit of positive peer pressure when you see, like, oh, my friend's doing that, I need to do that too. It kind of, has a little bit of peer pressure. So let's talk about the outcome if we had two groups. Let's just say you had a team of 100 people, and team A or team one, their priority was that they attend events. They focused on, that's just part of their culture. We attend the events. And so all 100 people, they attend convention. And if you had group B or two that with those same 100 people, but they don't make it a priority, and that only some people attend, who do you think's business is going to grow faster and be more stable and solid? Yeah, it's obvious it's going to be group A or team one. That it's just there's so much power that comes from that destination event. And so understanding that is really important as a leader. So there's two principles that I want to briefly talk about that will help you to be better at promoting events for your team. And the first one, above everything else, is that you are more committed than anyone else on your team. So that means that you lead by example, that you're the one showing up. You're the one that, if there aren't tickets available to convention, you're going to find one. That you're not going to make an excuse, well, there's none. You're going to find one. And I've had people who are reaching out and they are finding convention tickets because they're not letting that be an excuse that's going to hold them back. So they are highly committed. Maybe you have childcare issues. I can totally relate to that. My first convention, I had 5 kids. I just had my 5th, and she was about, I don't know, maybe 6 months old. And we lived out of state. So we had kids to try to figure out with the childcare. We had travel. We had the lack of money to do that. But the thing is, those who are committed, they'll find a way to do it. Also, what about accommodations? Thinking Salt Lake right now, where am I going to get a hotel? Where am I going to stay? Well, it's okay if you pack 8 people into a hotel room. That is what some people have done to make it possible. And my first convention was life-changing. It was one of those times when I was like, it just cemented what I was doing and the commitment that I had made. That I didn't feel like, oh, this is just kind of some foo-foo hobby thing that I had created, but going there and seeing all these people, and then the culture of doTERRA and being immersed with fabulous people, that it wasn't all about money, and it wasn't some like way out there crazy oil hugging people that maybe I didn't necessarily relate with, but there were people that I belonged with. And I felt that when I was able to come And so that just really cemented the feelings and the experiences that I had about 4 or 5 months earlier. That this was the right place for me, and this is where I was going to continue with my business. And Eric Worre, he had shared an experience of his first convention that he had gone to, and he had kind of run into one of the top leaders there, and he had asked him, so what was the secret to success in this business? And the guy said that if you take a look at the people, all of the people in the room, that about half of those people will not be here in 3 months. So the power is that if you can come back, the people that do come back, they will make twice as much as the other new people in the room. And so if you continue to come back, because the people that were at that second event, about half of those will not be back. And so if you show up the next time, then you're going to make 4 times as much as the new people that show up. And that will continue on. If you just continue to be committed and consistent in attending the events, that over time, you will make twice as much, 4 times as much, 8 times as much, 16 times as much, 32 times as much, 64 times as much, 128 times as much as those new people. That's just what happens if you stay consistent in building your business. And so that's what this top leader had shared with him. And so he stayed committed. He's like, I don't know how I'm going to be able to afford to make it to the next event, but I'm committed to finding a way. And so that's what he did. He made it to the next event, and he just continued that pattern, and that's what he taught other people. And the reality is that some of you on this webinar or who listen to the replay, that you will not be here 3 months from now or a year from now, unless you commit and you decide that this is what I'm going to do, and that I'm going to be committed, that I'm in it for the long haul. And honestly, if you think about, you're trying to create permanent income. So that's a residual income. So it comes every month, that is very consistent. That permanent income requires permanent effort. So there's not really, I mean, it's not true. It's misleading to say that at some point, you don't have to do anything in your doTERRA business. That's absolutely not true. Because if you end up not doing anything, that permanent income will go away. But presidential diamonds on average work about 15 hours a week. 15 hours a week to create a tremendous 6-7 figure income that is permanent as long as they are being committed and they're showing up to the events. Do they put in as much effort as they maybe did as at a lower rank where they were working a little bit harder? No, but that's what it creates. And so that's the commitment. It's a lifetime commitment if that's what you're trying to create. So long-term residual income. So the fun thing is that it becomes a muscle. It's like you're developing this muscle as you make that decision. Okay, I'm going to get there. I know that I'm going to have challenges. It's going to be hard for me to get to convention or whatever the event is. But if you're committed and you're saying, you know what, I'm going to figure out a way. I might talk to my upline and say, here's my situation. What are some different ideas? What have other people done to either raise the money to get there or to find a ticket or to get accommodations or swapping somebody with childcare? There's so many people who have the same challenge as you may have or somebody on your team has. And so reaching out and finding out, well, what are some of the solutions that we have? This person is committed. I'll tell you, if I have somebody that is committed and I know that they're in it for the long haul, I will do whatever it takes to get them to convention, because I know that's how important it is. But when I have somebody that's not committed and I can tell they're not really in it with their heart, they're not showing up all the time, they're not just doing the basic habits, then I know they're not committed, and that's the person I'm not going to necessarily go to bat for. But when I see that commitment, I know that if they just continue to be committed in those events, that they continue to feed that commitment and strengthen that person and change them and help them to grow and to develop, and that inspires them to greater things beyond anything that they probably thought of with their life and what they can achieve, that is so worth the investment for me. So let's talk about the second principle that's really powerful for creating this skill. And then the second one is that having the intention to grow your team's attendance in numbers at these events. So whether that's at local events where you're having a monthly maybe product training or business training, and especially at convention, at leadership retreats, at the different regional trainings you may have, that you want to see your numbers growing. So if you're not seeing your numbers growing, then you're not really changing lives, okay? You're not making the impact that you could. So growing your team's numbers, how do you do that? Well, first of all, you need to be more than just an announcer of the event. You need to be a promoter of the event. So that means you don't just say it once and that's it. Also, with attendance, that it's expected. In my business, it's expected that you show up and you go to convention. That's what we do. That's what being a doTERRA business owner means, is that you do these certain things. And there's not too many destination events, but the ones that are expected are convention for sure. And if you're silver rank or above, then leadership retreat is expected that you should be there. Just like with a regular job, how you have certain expectations, that if you have that mindset in this business, you will go far. So another tip with that is take nothing for granted. You know, the things that come up and the trainings that different leaders do, don't take those for granted. Don't take for granted the systems that are available for you, the tools that are available for you. Also, don't buy people's stories or their excuses. And this is something that I had to learn, and I learned it from some different leaders, is that when I had people say, you know, I can't afford going, at first I just accepted that, well, they can't afford it, that's okay. And then I've learned, oh, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to take that as an excuse. In fact, I had that, it could have been an excuse for me, but because I didn't let it be an excuse, it's completely changed our lives. And so not letting those people that you care about, not letting them have those excuses without giving them some solutions or some thoughts or some stories as to why they should be there. Because if somebody can't afford to make it to convention, then that will probably continue every single year unless they change. And one of the things that they can change is their commitment level to growing this as a business. And so helping them to see, you know what, if you're really committed, I bet there's a way that you can figure it out. And giving them maybe some ideas, things that you've done if you've been in that same situation of money's been tight. What have you done? Have you had childcare issues? Maybe you've swapped with someone. Maybe you paid somebody in oils. You have free points. You're like, I'll give you these free points if you watch my kids. I mean, these oils if you watch my kids. There's different ways of coming up with that. Also, if you have someone that has an excuse for not coming to convention, then that's where you pull out your own story or somebody else's story. So for instance, right now it's hard to get convention tickets. So it would be easy to say, you know, I don't have a ticket and they're all sold out, so I can't go. However, when somebody tells me that, this is what I share with them. Well, I have a friend who was wanting to go convention just recently. And so she was reaching out to different people. She was posting on Facebook to see, you know, is there anybody that has convention tickets for sale? And she was joining different groups. And eventually she found a ticket. Somebody was not able to attend, and so they were selling her that ticket. Now, had she already decided like, oh, I wouldn't be able to go, she wouldn't have been putting forth that effort to find a ticket. So if you are wanting to go, and if you are committed, that's what I would be doing right now, is reach upline, reach out on the Facebook groups, let people know that you are looking for a ticket. And you'll want to do that before the end of the month, because that's when those tickets that most of the top leaders have, that they have to be registered by the end of the month. Okay, so along with that, you want to paint a picture in their mind of the value that they're getting. And I'm relating this to convention, but this is for any event that we have, whether it's a webinar, it's a team training, it's a class that you're trying to promote, you know, come to this oil class. What is in it for them? You're painting a picture of the value that is created in this event. So just like I've been sharing with you, like how that webinar changed my life really forever in the way that I thought about creating income, that sharing that story is really powerful, and it helps to paint a picture for you of what one simple little event can do for someone. And you never know which event it's going to be, but that's what you want to do for them, is paint that picture. Why would you want to attend this essential oil class? And you're sharing your story, because all of us have stories. And if you think about it right now, and what I'd love for you to do is post on there on the page, if you'll post some of those stories that you have. What event changed your life? Was it a friend just sharing an oil with you? Was it a class that you attended? Was it a webinar that you watched? What event changed your life? So those are some things to think about as far as growing your numbers your numbers. But as a leader, you want to know how many are going. You want to know who on your team is going to convention. You want to know who's going to the local event that's taking place, or if there's a post-convention event that's coming up. You want to know who's coming. Some people will do that through Eventbrite. Some people, they just have their networks where each team leader knows which people on their team are going. You want to know those things so that you can be tracking those numbers and seeing that it's growing over time. So promoting those events, like I said, you want to make sure that you tell them why it's important and why that they should be bringing other people to these things. And the big thing is you promote it, you share it with people, but then you repeat it, repeat it, repeat it, repeat it. So, hey, you know, we have this webinar that's coming up, and you can put it out there once to your leaders. Hey, there's this business training. Hope you come. Or you could be a promoter and you let them know, okay, here's this business training. And then the next day, okay, are you coming to the business training? And then the day before, remember that there's that business training. You really want to be there because it's going to do X, Y, Z for you. And then that day, remember the business trainings in a few hours. You want to make sure you get on that because there's going to be some great tips for X, Y, Z. So that's what a promoter does. There's a lot of repetition. And why do you think we place this skill in this month of July? Well, one of the reasons is because we want you to know how to promote convention. Like, it's coming up quickly. And this is really probably one of the last months. I mean, there'll be a few, you know, things that come up in August, but this is a great time right now to find tickets if you don't have one. So, and then we go from event to event to event. So this event, we will be promoting our next events at the end of this. If you have a class, you want to make sure that you're promoting your next event. So that might be our next class is next Thursday. Or if somebody's signing up, you want to set up that membership overview, which is an event. So this is what we do after you sign up. We have a membership overview. Let's go ahead and set that up. Or maybe you have it scheduled where you do membership overviews as a group. Next week at 10, this is when we have our membership overview. But you're promoting the next event at your event. If it's a one-on-one, tell them what the next thing is and help them go from event to event to event. So let's give you a couple of examples of how you can do this and the skills that you could use to promote this. So for instance, we have the rose and jasmine promotion where you can earn a free rose or earn a free jasmine. If you were to enroll 4 people, that you can earn that jasmine. Now, how can you promote that so that others on your team want to take advantage of that? Well, number one, you probably should know about jasmine. Like, what are all the wonderful benefits of jasmine? And if you don't know, I would go Google and look. There's so many different webinars and trainings that are out there. We will have one posted on Essential Wellness Pros that you can listen to so that you can understand the powerful effects of jasmine, especially on your mood and emotions and other aspects. So you want to know about that. You want to know about rose. So just for instance, this is pretty cool. It takes 60,000 roses or over 2 million rose petals to make 1 ounce of oil. And that's just crazy. And that's why it's so precious. And then knowing what are the benefits of rose? Why would somebody on your team want to have a bottle of rose on hand, and knowing that you can't get it from anywhere else, this quality of rose, and helping them to be able to do that. Now, it's interesting because I've been seeing on the Facebook group people posting, oh, that, why do they do it that way? Because there's no way that I could earn a free bottle because of XYZ. I can't do, I wouldn't be able to do that. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, if you understood how awesome rose is and some of the experience that I've had with rose, and how I remember being on a cruise and I was pregnant and just feeling really miserable. One of the doTERRA events, I wasn't feeling really perky. And for some reason, I brought rose with me. I don't generally just take that bottle of rose with me, but I felt like I should take it. And I remember just breathing it in my cabin. And I could feel how, just through my body, how it uplifted me. It was an incredible experience. And it just made me think of how powerful that oil was. And I wasn't in like some deep, dark depression or something, but how powerful it was for me at that moment to change my experience. And there are other people out there and probably on your team who could really benefit from having Rose. So this is the only way that they can get that, and you being able to promote that to them and help them see a path to getting it. We have 2 months, and so starting right now to be able to earn that bottle of Rose it's plenty of time to be able to reach out and just through those daily habits of sharing with people and following up with them and teaching them how to use essential oils and finding out what their needs are and how these can fulfill their needs, that there's so many people who should be earning the jasmine and rose. And that's how you should promote this to your team. So some other examples is when doTERRA comes out with these different promotions. So the Deep Blue Rub, the Immortelle may be coming up. Knowing about those oils or those products is, number one, super important, and helping other people to see the value of those and how they can get them for free. And that is a good promoter, not just once, but repetition, repetition, repetition. Other things that are great examples of events that we should be promoting is getting started. So right on Essential Wellness Pros, you can go on there, the Getting Started, is promoting that, helping people to know where they go to get started. And over again, like this is where we go. This is what you need to do. Let me know when you get those 10 steps done, or let me help you with them. Which one are you working on? The mentor calls is another event that you could promote. Are people listening to the daily mentor calls? You'll have new leaders come on, and you'll need to continually be promoting those things that will help their business to grow. So finally, we're going to talk, and then if you have any questions, I'll kind of go through those. So the next events, number one, you'll want to register for convention. You want to, lead by example. If you have reasons you can't be there, if you're committed, you'll figure it out. And I promise you, your life will be changed by making those things happen. So register by July 31st, and there will be, go to the Facebook groups, go start asking, ask your upline, what do I need to do to get a convention ticket? I promise you, if you have a great desire to have one, you will get one. July 7th is our online Facebook sensational event. So every month we have a product training. It might be a webinar. It happens to be the summer months. We're doing Facebook events. So go on essentialwellnesspros.com. You can see that there has been promoted as far as joining that for yourself. But now you need to go and take and promote that to people. They don't have to be a wellness advocate. It's a great way for people just to learn about essential oils. And it's so easy to do with the busy schedules in summer for people just to pop in and out of the Facebook event. If they register for it, they say I'm coming, then they'll just automatically get the posts that come up, and so they'll be learning as they just read those quickly, and it's so fast and easy for them to learn about the oils. July 20th, we have a business overview. You'll find that on Essential Wellness Pros Facebook group. If that's live in Santa Clarita, California, but it will be live streamed. Jessica Moultrie will be doing that. She does an excellent job and promoting that to your team. So this is helping people to see what this business could be for them. If you haven't been to one, then make sure you go. If you have people on your team who haven't been to one or that are using oils, and you could, invite them if they're open to getting their oils for free or earning an extra income or replacing their income, come join this. You can just watch it from your house. This business overview, so you can understand what we're doing. You want to promote the benefits for this. Well, maybe it will change your life. Maybe you'll be able to not struggle month to month. Maybe because you keep getting laid off every few years, maybe this is a way to overcome that and not be in that cycle all the time. Or maybe this is a way for you to create an income so that you can pay for those activities that you want your kids to be involved in. Or maybe this could be your retirement, but you'll never know if you don't find out. So all you would need to do is just come join that business overview. So that's the way that you can promote these things. July 23rd, the Getting Started training. For those who want to get started, it's live in Santa Clarita. We'll be live streaming it for everybody else. August 4th, I hope you're putting these on your calendar and that you're promoting these things to your team, as well as the events that you have, your classes, and different trainings or whatnot that you have. A monthly online product training it's generally the first Tuesday of the month is our monthly online product training, and then the first Thursday of the month is this business training. So you can see that's basically promoting events. That's the highest paid skill in our business. If you get good at getting butts in seats, then not only will your income go up, but a lot more lives will be changed. Nothing happens if people don't show up, if people aren't, being educated and inspired. So let me go through the chat, see if there's any questions. Okay. If you have any questions, you can go ahead and post them here. Some basic oils class, Beth was the one that changed things for her. I bought my convention ticket before I enrolled. That's awesome. Way to go, Lisa. Joel said, our second convention really sealed the deal for me. That's great. Okay, I'll give you a couple more, maybe 30 seconds. If there's no questions, then we'll go ahead and close that. But those who are listening to the replay, I would encourage you to go ahead and post, whether it's in Essential Wellness Pros Facebook group or if you're on a different team in your team's Facebook group, go ahead and post those experiences that you have had at an event, whether that was convention, a class that really changed things for you. And in the process of sharing, it cements that experience for you, and it can also touch other people's lives. So that's what I would encourage you to do, whatever time you listen to the replay, that you'll go and share that with other people. So Lisa asks, where can you get the Getting Started training information? If you go to essentialwellnesspros.com, one of the tabs says Getting Started. If you click on that Getting Started tab, it gives you what you need to do to get started. The training's there, how to get prepared. Also, then the second tab that's underneath there is the mentor calls. And those are daily calls that you can have text right to your phone. And they're 10 to 15 minutes, and it helps train you how to do this as a business. It's 8 weeks, and then it repeats, and I would encourage you to listen to it over and over again. But it gives you a foundation of the things that you need to know. How do you share oils? Which oils do you want to share? How do you invite people? How do you teach? How do you enroll people? How do you do a membership overview, a business overview, the things, just some of the basic things that we do in this business. So let's see. Lisa, did you see my question? I just answered that. Okay. Bryn said, how would you leverage enrollments? Hold on, let me do this. How would you leverage enrollments so you can earn the rose or jasmine oil? Okay, so that can get kind of tricky because you should not be stealing other people's people so that you can get the points or to get credit for an enrollment. So your business will grow bigger and better if you're focused on doing what's right. So if you have someone, let's say they're hosting a class and there are people who enroll, you could enroll those people as your people, right? I wouldn't do that unless that host says, no, absolutely not. I do not want to do this as a business, and I absolutely do not want to get a free rose or jasmine, okay? So if there is it's upfront and you've explained, you have 4 people here that are enrolling, that would qualify you to get a jasmine. That paycheck that they're going to get and that free jasmine is going to be pretty darn cool. And for me, I would rather have a new leader on my team than the bottle of jasmine, right? Now, so with that being said, if for those of you who are a leader and you're trying to, support other leaders, maybe you're helping them teach or whatnot, that you want to do that, but then you also want to have your own classes, whether those are regular classes, if you're doing one-on-ones with people, you should have a constant flow of new people that you are personally talking to and teaching. And so that within 2 months, for sure, you should be able to enroll 4 people, 8 people, 11 people, set your goal of what you want to accomplish, and you for sure could accomplish that without taking away that incentive from somebody else who this may be a great promotion for them to finally engage in this as a business and see like, oh, that was not very hard. Like we had this class and I had this many people enroll, and maybe they had 2 people, and you can let them know, you know what, if you were able to get 2 other people who wanted to enroll, you would get a free bottle of Jasmine. And here's what Jasmine does. That might get them excited to do another class or follow up with the people from the class that didn't enroll. So you want to use this to build your business in that sense, not just, you know, get those free oils for yourself. Okay, let's see. How do you promote events without driving people crazy? How do you engage what is, this is from Charlotte, how do you gauge what is too much promotion? Okay, so if you have the right audience and you're providing value and service, high value, generally people love that. So you might think of with email. So we all nowadays get a bunch of email, and there are some that we just think is spam. And the reason why we think it's spam is because it's not serving us. We're not seeing where it's fulfilling a need. So it seems like spam to us, right? So yes, you don't want to be that spammer with your promotion. However, there's probably some emails that you highly value, that every time you get it, you're like, oh, I love this because that person is providing this information or this entertainment or whatever it is that you're seeing as valuable. So they love getting that. And oftentimes you may not engage with, maybe they're selling something, or there's something that you could have purchased, or you could have attended this event, and timing just doesn't work out for them, but you love getting that. So that's where you want to be the person who is providing such great value that people don't mind getting that. And sometimes you have to ask and say, you know, if you don't want to hear about these promotions, just let me know. But I love them, and this is what it's done for me. I love being able to get free oils, or I love being able to go to these trainings because it's really helped me in this way, and you're helping them to see what the value of it is. Then it might be just a timing issue, and they're okay with getting those reminders. And so that's where, but you'll have a different group. You'll have a couple of different groups. You'll have just your consumers who you're not pushing, you're providing value to in that capacity of just knowing what's going on, and this could help you in this way, great. But for the group of people that are your solid builders and they're committed, they're people that you can kind of push and remind that they really want that, and oftentimes they really need it. So for instance, I have a friend who she has, you know, she's just incredible. And I shared oils with her a few years ago, and timing wasn't necessarily right for her to build a business. And honestly, I think it was really me and my skills were lacking in helping to support her and helping her to see like, this is real and you could do this. But okay, so fast forward to now that I just felt this need to reach out to her again and help her to see like, this is something that's could really change your life. Now she's been going from job to job to job, being laid off and whatnot, and her financial situation has been the same for the past however many years. This was an opportunity for me to show her this could change your life. And because I knew it could, maybe people would have saw it as a little bit pushy, but because I saw her potential and that she needed this, that I was willing to continue to be very persistent in inviting her and showing her, okay, you need to do this next thing. You need to come to this thing. I know it's going to cost you some whatever to get to this event, and you're going to have to skip out on work, take a day off, but it's going to be totally worth it, and pushing her along because I know that once she gets over that hump, that she will have developed that muscle of her own, and I won't have to do that for her. But as a good leader, you're trying to gauge people and where they're at, and it takes practice. You'll have experiences where you maybe promoted a little bit too much, and you'll have ones where you thought, man, I should have done more. I should have said more. I should have not let them have that as an excuse. And that will come over time. It will develop for you. And so I hope that kind of helps. There's not like one simple answer for it. Okay, Beth, I have team members who are having a difficult time getting people to their events, even after promoting. Any suggestions? How can I help them? Well, I think sometimes when we have a hard time getting people to events, just regular classes, that it's mostly mindset. It's either mindset or skill set. And so if you will take number one and try to eliminate and make sure it's not your skills. Like if you are inviting in a way that lends to people coming to a class. And if you think that might be your issue, then there's great resources, the GoPro training. He goes through the different skills. So how do you invite people? How do you seek openness? Rod and Seth, Rod Richardson, he does some great trainings with Edge Success and talks about seeking openness, because sometimes you're talking to someone that's totally closed. Just last week, or when was it? Oh, a couple days ago, we did an event. There were a couple ladies in this class who, like, brand new to oils, they didn't know much about it, and you could tell that they were totally closed. Like, this was weird to them. You could feel it, you could sense it, that they were closed. And so knowing that they were closed, we would need to seek openness for them to find out, because once they are open, that's when you can invite and people want to come because they see the value. Like, oh, for instance, like with me, with having allergies and having some other health conditions, because of my situation, I was open to the possibility of essential oils. Even though that was totally weird to me, I was open to new ideas. And so when it was shared with me by Elise Coyle, I was accepting of that. And even though some of the class things that she invited me to, I wasn't able to go to, her, just keep on inviting because I was open. And finding out if people are open to learning and not just, coming to get a free oil at this class, that if you're seeking that openness and you have the right skills, that you'll change the outcome of people showing up. Now, let's just say you have the skills. It could possibly be the mindset that you have and the value that you're offering. So sometimes we think that we are putting people out of their way or they're doing us a favor, when in reality, if you can understand, like, what you have is so extremely valuable. And if that person is not interested in your valuable, precious thing that you're offering, then that's okay. You're trying to find the people who are open to this wonderful gift that we have. And so it might be talking to more people to find the right people who are open. It might be learning new skills to help encourage openness among those people. Sometimes, especially when we just start out, like, we just vomit on people. We don't pay attention to what their needs are because we're paying so much attention to what we want. We want people at our class. We want you showing up. But if you could, like, step back from that and pay attention to that person and where they're at and serving them and finding out what their needs are, not to sell them some oil or coming to your class, but really serving them. And it may be that they don't want to come to your class, but they know that you're genuinely interested in them, that over time that will change. I promise you that will change. So you kind of have to evaluate your situation as why you think people aren't attending those classes. Is it the way you're inviting, the skills that you have? Is it the mindset? Is it you just need to be patient and knowing that it's going to take some time? I remember starting California here in this little area. It took time to create a big organization. It took time and patience with people who were not initially open to oils, but over time, as they saw, oh, like, more people are using those. Oh, that's not so weird. Oh, maybe I'll try. Okay, maybe I'll come to this class. Oh gosh, I could see myself doing this as a business. Just know that you might have to have some patience with it. Amanda says, how would you suggest promoting classes and other events to new people or businesses that I don't know? Again, it's getting to know people. You can get to know people pretty quickly. If you haven't read How to Win Friends and Influence People, that's an excellent book. I mean, I don't like the title, but the things that are shared in there is just being authentic and taking interest in people, caring about people when they feel that. A brand new business, like, if you're concerned about what their needs are, maybe their sales are down, or maybe they want to offer something that really changes their people's lives for the good, and that is a great, clean, green product, and seeing what their needs are as a business and offering, here, try this, see how it goes. That oftentimes that will create that openness to more. So with new people, and the same thing one-on-one with new people that you might meet, you need to build that trust with them before they'll be open to the things that you have to offer. Allison had asked, what do you mean by leverage enrollments? I think we've kind of talked a little bit about that. Okay, any other questions? I think that's good. Okay, I think we're good. I want to just encourage you to be on our next event, the Sensational Summer with Essential Oils, and not only you, but promoting that event so that we have masses on there of people, whether they're brand new people, seasoned people on your team, or they're not even wellness advocates. This is a really easy way for them to jump on and get some experiences with oils and learning about them on that event. So you can get that Essential Wellness Pros Facebook group. You'll find that there. And I'm so excited. Let's see, we have another question. You may have already answered this, but how are you doing the inviting, calling, texting Facebook? As far as promoting, so I'm not quite sure, Colleen, what your exact question is. If it's like which way am I using to promote things? All of the above. So as far as, if it's a class, then I do a lot of texting because my group of people, we don't talk a ton on the phone, and I'm not one to go out and deliver invitations because of time-wise. And so a lot of mine is texting or Facebook messaging. But if the group of people, like your warm market, that's a normal thing for you to call them up or drop off something at their house, then that's what I would do. But I would encourage you to do more than one way of promoting. So you might invite over the phone, you might text someone, and then you're following up with an email. Hey, thought of you, I saw this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You might be sending them a link to something to watch. Something else on Facebook, hey, whatever. But you can do it in so many different ways. There's no like perfect way. And whatever you're comfortable with and whatever your strengths are, you might be really good over the phone and talking to people. And somebody else might be, like, you might pee your pants. You might have a different strength. That's okay. But knowing that you're inviting, there's so many different ways with technology to invite. I wouldn't necessarily hide behind email or Facebook, but sometimes that's the only way that you can get to people because of time. Know that, you can do that. Do you know what time the sensational event is? It has it on the event page. It's like it says 10 a.m. right there. 10 a.m. I believe that's Mountain Time, so that would be 9 a.m. Pacific Time, and you can figure that out. But it's a day-long class, and so if you can join when it begins, great. If you join in the middle, you'll just be able to read through the different posts and the comments and whatnot. So it accommodates anybody's schedule. And then it will be up that you can come back, days after that and take a look there and refer people. If there's stuff that you learned from that and it's going to help someone, then you can promote it in that way. Hey, the event's over, but you should go to the Facebook event here because there was great information about whatever, that it would be valuable to them. Okay, so I think that's it. Thank you everybody for joining our webinar. And for those who are listening to the replay, again, I would post what event really changed your life, that the light bulb went on for you, whether that was a class, a one-on-one, a sample, convention, whatnot. Go ahead and post that on Facebook groups and let people know. I love this. You guys are going to do great. Promoting events, again, is the #1 top income earning skill that you could learn. And so it's really important to learn this and do it out of love for people. Thanks, everybody. Good night.